All right. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the stream. We are live. What is this? This is very interesting because I'm trying to figure out what this live stream is going to be. And obviously, we're working towards building ourselves a $1 million podcast studio company. And this live stream has gone through many different iterations. And I'm thinking that maybe what makes the most sense, at least for right now, is to just have this almost as this live journal where I can just talk about what it is that is working, what's not working, where I'm at right now, what I'm thinking about, and how things are progressing week to week. And then, we could just put some things together in terms of what we're learning. Because obviously, I can't teach you how to make $1 million, but what I can do is document how I'm trying to do it. So, there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about today, and it's in the title here, so I won't bury the lead. But something came up last week, which was really great. It's fantastic. Definitely no complaints. Is we got a new 10K contract. What's really kind of funny about it is that it's a web design contract. And if you guys have been watching the stream or know me, when I first started my business in 2022, Pixel, it wasn't a podcast studio at all. It was a web design and web development agency. So that's kind of what we did, and just through word of mouth, we got this other contract, and we still have some clients that we're doing work for today, but we don't advertise it. But it's always there in our back pocket. I've been doing websites for like 20 years now, so it's always something that if people want. Obviously, happy to provide that service, and yeah, so that kind of came through, and it's going to run probably for well, for sure, it's gonna go through, the whole summer, but it's just gonna go, starts and stops here and there depending on, the different stages of the websites. I mean, I have my process pretty locked down in terms of how I work with clients to build websites. So anyways, looking forward to that, but it's just, a little bit of extra revenue that's coming into the company, which is fantastic. And I think that's gonna lead us into this new development, which is really interesting, but it's all about real estate. And I put it in the title here about how do you know when it's right to make the leap to go ahead and get some real estate. So, a little bit of background. My podcast studio is right here in my apartment building, right? So, where I'm live streaming right now, and just on the other side is the actual studio. So, if you've seen my podcast, Unconventional Mindset, it is a nice table. We got some flowers and we got some what is it? Like there's a TV on this on the wall. There's all the soundproofing and all that. This is all just this one big like 12 by 8 ish, 12 feet by 8 feet space where everything is kind of run out of. And people come in and it's basically they're coming into my home and then they come into the studio and then we record stuff for them, which is uh, you know, it's fantastic in that the whole idea was to have a space where I could just try it out. I was going to do my podcast anyway, so I'm like, let's see if people going to want to rent this out, and it was validated as a business idea. And here we are now making 7,100 a monthly in recurring revenue, and and we're just kind of keep growing. So the question is, when is it time to move out of my house in a sense and get a big boy studio space basically. And I mean, I have some concerns obviously because if you're going to go out there like getting a like I've never done this before. So I've never rented out a commercial space. I've never purchased any commercial space. So I don't know anything about it. And so far what I do know is that commercial landlords tend to like longer term leases starting at kind of 3 years, and that's gonna be something that I'm gonna need to consider is that, do I wanna be committed to signing like a 3-year lease? Like, a whole lot can happen in 3 years, like, who knows, right? Um, but, and I was looking around and I'm looking at the pricing, and we're looking at anywhere between 3 and $5,000 a month in order to get a space that is gonna work for where I want to be. Now, the space is never gonna be the final space of what I have as my holy grail of where I wanna be as, this, Hollywood level production studio where everyone could come in and tell their stories to create their own brand and bring their vision to life or, the story that they're telling with their business. That's not gonna happen, in the next 6 months, but I have been talking to, clients come in the door and we just talk and some friends. And there's one person that I was talking to, and it's like, we're like, we were just talking, and then it's like, yeah, there could be an avenue here where we can work together to pull off something that maybe we couldn't do on their own. Because I'm looking for a full time space and they're looking for like a part time space. And there could be some synergy here where it could work, right? Like if I can't afford or I don't think I can afford right now a $5,000 space, but if I can partner with somebody, then maybe all of a sudden that value becomes a whole lot more palpable, palpable, I guess. So that's one thing, but I'm sure there's other different ways of how you could form a real estate partnership when you're talking about commercial space, but I don't know anything about how that works. But I will say there's a couple things that are really important to me to figure out in this real estate venture if we ended up partnering. And first and foremost is that it has to be something that's best or that's good for both of us. And it's something that we're both going to benefit from. I'm going to be able to have a studio where I'm going to be able to have multiple different sets and multiple different looks for my clients. And they're going to have a space where, obviously they're going to be able to use my space as well too to do their own production, but also for the things that they need to do for their work and to do better work. So it's got to be a win-win. Like I know it's cheesy to say in business, but I really kind of believe that you can make deals where not one person gets screwed over in a sense, we can both come out of this ahead together, right? So I mean that's kind of the foundation of how I like to think about business is that, you know, you make deals where you're providing value and they're exchanging money, whatever the case may be. And then at the end of the exchange, everyone says thank you because everyone gets a fair exchange, right? Like everyone's happy with the outcome, right? It's not like screwing over or you're selling some kind of crappy course where, it's just garbage, right? So you're basically not, not scamming people or selling really bad products. So it's really, really important to me. And I think what it's going to have to be, if anybody here has any experience with signing leases or looking at commercial space, cutting deals on that, like anything at all, because I'm going to be learning a whole lot. Just let me know in the comments. I would really love to hear from you. But my whole mentality going forward in these next few weeks and these next few months is to really stay curious and really not being afraid to ask a whole lot of questions. And I really want to make sure that I'm not going to make any decision based solely on money. So I need to follow my instincts. And the reason I say that is in the past, go through this live stream, I've made some mistakes, some decisions that were based on, well, I think this is just what's best financially for me, right? And I think, well, not that I think that I know that for me moving forward here and how I'm going to be growing this business is I don't want to make my decisions based solely on money. Obviously, it's a factor. You need to be able to make money to be able to grow the business and to get to where we want to be. But we're at the stage now where, we're making six figures a year and we don't need to chase money for the sake of chasing money. Like let things grow as they need to without, I don't know, without just having to worry about that. I think the money will flow as long as we're really thinking about putting value to our customers, right? And doing right by them. And yeah, so where's that going to go? Like I'm not sure where that's going to go. I don't know if I could even show this. I just want to maybe I could bring this up. I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing this, but here's just a little thing of what I'm looking at. So here's like a website that has commercial space and real estate. And basically what I'm looking at, where can I go? Just looking at properties for lease. So I would love to get, where can I see something? Where is some good real estate? I mean, some of the prices like 2.3 million, like that's crazy. I know something like this. So this is kind of what my vision is. This is in some industrial park. I think it's in the Bedford area. But if we click on here, oh, is that going to come up? All right, here we go. So it's a little hard to see, but there are these kind of wide open industrial areas where we can set up a whole lot of different studio areas. But yet at the same time, there is areas to have different offices because we need a bunch of different office spaces. We need editing rooms and we need places where we're both myself and this other potential partner to do workshops. So something like this has potential that we can divide things up into nice office spaces. So, anyways, we're looking at that, and then we're looking at pricing. I think there's pricing in here as well. Where is it? Yeah, it's like $16 a year plus 675 per square feet, and that's like per year. So it's like $22 per square foot times 1,500 square feet times 12. Like if we just do a quick calculation, that would almost be too small for what I'm looking for, to be honest. But 16 times 2275. So we'd be looking at 35 grand for the year divided by 12. So it's like $3,000 a month. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking at in terms of real estate. So we're just gonna have to see where things go. And like I said, we're gonna have to talk. We're gonna just have to keep the communication open with this new potential partner and see where things go from there. Uh, where is my? Hey, how's it going, Mikey 15? Great to see you here. Yeah, so this is really interesting. Like, I'm super picky about who I align with, and I agree. It has to be a win for both of us. Creates an imbalance that just doesn't feel good about. It. Yeah, exactly. If you go off on the wrong foot and feel as if you don't have a good deal, then it's going to be terrible, and especially if it's like multiple year long agreement. So it's definitely very yeah. It's something to for sure consider. And again, these are the initial chats, so we'll see how things go, and we'll see if it makes sense. But I'll keep you guys posted on how it's going because this is new. This is totally new area for me. Like, obviously, if I could just have my own space where it's just mine, and I don't have to worry about any of that stuff, I mean, that would be ideal. But it's also like, okay, well, I don't want to go out to the bank and get out $100,000 loan to get this thing going because who knows if that's going to work. So like, there's just it's exploring all avenues and being open to everything. Because what I do know is that here in the studio, like I am starting to outgrow this space. Like it's getting a little bit, people are coming in almost every day and the family's here, maybe they have to leave. It's getting to be pretty intrusive that way. So having a good space would be nice. Anyways, dang, it's a cool space. Any way you can afford it and sub it to another business so you remain in control of the situation. Well, that might be how we actually do the deal, right? Like it could be that I just go ahead and sign the lease and then and then it's just a sublet, So that could be a way to structure the deal, right? So, and maybe that makes the most sense too, because they're only looking for a part-time space. So if they're looking for a part-time space, maybe it doesn't make sense for them to sign on a lease on a building, right? Maybe they don't want to be strapped in that way as well too, but maybe that's what I want. So there's all kinds of different ways to work this. So we'll have to see how things are going to go. And then there's of course the last thing to think about is does it even like does the city is the city going to be able to support like my work and what I do? And I think that really goes to becoming more than just a podcast studio. And I've been talking about this and I've been working a lot on this the past few weeks and I'm working with clients right now on this. But I think just being able to have a place where people can come and record and get their content for specific types of people, I think they get it. I think they get the value proposition and it makes sense for them. But I'm learning now that there's so much more to it and that might not really solve the problem of a lot of companies. Because I think what the problem is, it's not that, hey, I don't have any place to record content. I think the problem is well, there's a few different ways to look at it. Number one is I don't know how to create content. I don't know how to do anything in front of a camera. And then it's I don't know how to make videos that are going to help me make more money and make more business. So I think the whole way that my messaging is going to have to be on my website. Let me just pull it up right now, actually, while I'm thinking about this. Like right now, it's just a creative space for doing this or that. I think there needs to be more of this, of how content can help you achieve your business objectives. And I have here creating content's a whole lot easier. People need to trust, like even this year, people need to trust who you are before they ever buy from you. Um, so I think this was focused on the persona of the person who wants to go on camera, but they don't have the technical skills or the place or whatever to just be able to show up. So that's kind of what this is speaking to. But I think I need to also speak to people that don't even know how to show up on camera, right? They don't even know that it's something that they need to do. Because I'm telling you, one of the coolest things that I heard one of my clients say is that they were on my podcast, and then I give everyone that's on my podcast, I give them shorts of their episode. And the sexiest thing I heard is that they took that content, they posted it on their whatever social media, and they made money off of it, and they got business from it. So they're like, "Oh, I need to do more of this. This could actually drive business growth." So that is amazing, and that's what the kind of person that I'm trying to engage with. And I think that's the added value of why am I making content and how can I work with my clients to ensure that they'll keep on wanting to come back because it drives business growth, right? So I think that's really kind of how I want to look at it. So maybe rent a room for 3 to 6 months to test drive this idea on a small scale before signing a big yearly lease. Also, building on a smaller space would be more affordable than a massive space. Oh, for sure. There's so many there's so many different things to think about of like, hey, if I got a 3,000 square foot space, like how the hell am I going to furnish that thing, right? And I think it would be piece by piece, not like, hey, we're just going to build everything and have some kind of grand opening. But the question is like renting a room for 3 to 6 months. So I think it's definitely a valid question. The thought that comes through my mind is, can I even get a space like that? Like, where can I find that space? Like, I was even thinking about just renting an apartment building, right? So I could just rent another apartment building somewhere and then just set up shop there and test that out. But the thing that caused me to that makes me hesitate is for the amount of effort it's going to take to move into a place for 3 months or 6 months and then to move into another place after that, like that's a lot of work. And the fact now that I don't have anybody else on staff, like it's just me, I'm worried that I'd stretch myself too thin. So I love the idea, and I think it's valid. And it's something to really keep in my mind. Um, but again, if I have a partnership and I could get some kind of space and it could work it out so that's a really good deal, is it going to be worth passing up on it just to save a little bit of money to try something for 3 to 6 months? Again, not trying to make decisions based on money, but then again, there's less risk. But in business, there's always going to be risk. And given the fact that we are still doing pretty good and we have revenue coming in consistently because we have recurring revenue, I think it could be a good enough risk, right? So in month 3 of renting my room, 12 by 14, I'm paying $550 a month. But that's so cheap. I don't think we can find that here in Halifax. Like, I don't know if that's an American thing or what, but like here, like rent in Canada is insane. I think housing is like even more expensive here than it is in the States. Like I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. Like the average house price in my neighborhood is $950,000. Right. Is that right? Yeah. It's just like $1 million for a house. It's insane. So, if I could find a spot for $500 a month, I would jump on it tomorrow. So I'll just throw that out there because I've seen some small spaces that are like 400 square foot, and again, multi-year lease, and it's like $2,500. I'm like, this is insane. So maybe I think this is just the location, but I will do my due diligence and research. I'll spend a little bit of time this week to see like what is available. I'll call a couple agents to see if they can help me out with this. Because again, I don't know really where you can get all these places, and if there's a difference between commercial and like residential areas. But again, I want to be careful about residential areas. But then I'll let you know next week because, man, oh man, $500, like, yeah, sign me up tomorrow because that would be amazing. And there's just nothing that I've seen that even comes close to that price. So that's that's where we're at. Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. And this is why it's funny because one of the things that I hear so much about doing business here, number one in Canada, but also number two in Nova Scotia in particular, is that Nova Scotia is like the hardest province in Canada to do business because people are just really stingy with their money. Even if you can show them the greatest value and ROI they're going to get with their money, like, hey, you spend $10,000 with me, you're going to get $50,000 on the back end. They're like still hesitant and they still got to hum and haw over it. So, um, yeah, it's crazy. And then everyone says too, if you could do business in the States, do business in the States. They're like, it's like 10 times easier because people understand almost that you have to spend money to make money. You have to do things. So but here in Canada, it's crazy. It's a different beast. And there's also a lot of people that won't do things unless there's some kind of government subsidies as well too. So don't get me started on that kind of stuff. But anyways, Facebook Marketplace is where I found mine. But I'm the Okanagan. Yeah, second. Second. Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were in the States. My bad. Second most expensive part of BC after Vancouver. Is this and it's a commercial space or is it a residential space? But that okay, so you understand the plight of of Canada. So Facebook Marketplace. So I don't even have a Facebook account, or maybe I do and I just don't use it. But I literally don't do Facebook. So it's a commercial space. Okay, so maybe I'll have to talk to my wife because she's on Facebook or like she has a Facebook account. So maybe I could just go onto the marketplace and look for that. Well, that's interesting. I've never even seen that anything close to that. Okay, so huh. And I would imagine then it's like a sublet. Okay, I'll think that would be cool. Okay, so all right, I'm going to worth a look. Yeah, 100%. Like, why not, right? So okay, all right. So what I'm going to do, my homework for this week is to do a little bit more digging around what is available here locally, and maybe talk to the agent that I was talking to before, get some information on some of the bigger spaces, and then see what I can find. Maybe hunting around Facebook Marketplace, or I don't know if there's any other places like the Realtor.ca or something like that for maybe potential like lease opportunities of smaller spaces and go from there. I mean, that won't really help obviously with the partnership, but um, I mean, obviously, I guess it's I got to do what makes sense for me first and foremost before worrying about other people. But yeah, so that's where we're gonna go. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that. It's already 11:38, so I do need to run. I have I have something going on at 12 o'clock here. But Mikey15, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Everyone else that watches this episode later on, I do. There's a couple other people here watching the chat or watching the stream, so I appreciate you guys tuning in. Um, that's all I got. Have yourselves a good one. Again, appreciate you tuning in, and we'll be back here. Have an awesome day. Yeah, I appreciate that. You as well. Thanks for tuning in. And, we're going to keep plugging away. And next week, we'll talk more about real estate, I'm sure, and maybe some other things that are going to develop. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, have a good one. Keep plugging away at your business, and we'll see you on the other side.